Okay, that looks like 5:15.
Yeah.
Close enough for me? Yep, it is.
Please stand and join us with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, and I will now call to order the regular school board meeting of Independent School District number 544. To begin, we'll have the clerk establish our quorum.
Kirby Anderson.
Present.
Kelly Graff.
Here.
Jenny Christensen.
Present.
Missy Hermes, present. Melanie Cole.
Here.
Stephen Vigasa.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion on that? All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. The agenda is approved, and we have resolutions on acknowledgements. And so we would like to thank the following: the Fraternal Order of Eagles 2339 for their donation to the middle school weight room at Kennedy Secondary School, and also thank you to Otter Elementary PTO for their donation to the One Book, One School event at Adams Elementary School. Will someone offer that resolution and move for its adoption?
I'll offer the resolution and move for its adoption.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll turn to you, clerk.
Kelly Graff.
Yes.
Jenny Christensen.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Melanie Cole.
Yes?
Stephen Vigasa.
Yes.
Kirby Anderson.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
Thank you. We have tonight our first report from Amanda Griffin, our Human Resources Director. Welcome, Amanda. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. It's good to see all of you. Thanks for having me tonight. My update will be a little bit quick. First, I just wanted to make a quick comment about pay equity. Let's see. Maybe not.
Try it again.
I'll click it from my machine.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jeff. So in January, we submitted pay equity data, and it's rather a large amount of data, but I think the more important pieces are that we received a notice of compliance, and that confirms that our district is in compliance with standards. So employers in Minnesota need to submit this to ensure that we not only are promoting transparency, but that,
Amanda, can you use the microphone?
yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Yep. So that we can confirm that our employees are all compensated fairly without regard to gender and other factors. Thanks. Next, workplace safety and workers' compensation. Can you go back one, Jeff? There's two for this. Thanks. So we posted OSHA 300 summaries in January, and some of the data on those reports include the total number of injuries and which were recordable. So I just wanted to share a little bit about it. We had 11 injuries total, but only 3 of those 11 were recordable. 2 of the cases were last time cases, and there was only 4 total days away. And then the 3rd recordable case was a respiratory reaction. So overall, that is great from a work comp perspective. You can advance it, thanks. And then this next slide here talks a little bit about TRIR, so total recordable incident rate. So if this is a standard formula, but if we take the 3 incidents that we had and multiply them by 200,000, because that's the formula, and then divide it by the total hours worked, we get a total incident rate of 0.88. So compared to the state average of 3, that's a great rate. And the average rate in schools is also 3. So in that sense, we're doing well. And then DART is another rate. That's more of a severity rate. So it looks at days away, restricted days, and time away or time of transfer, if you had to transfer jobs. So that as well is a very low rate for us. So at least as far as our 2025 data, I didn't look at historical data, but for 2025, we're definitely outperforming state benchmarks and moving in the right direction for workers' comp. Hoping that a culture of early reporting really allows us to address those minor injuries. We make sure to share with all new hires that it's really important to report early. And a big part of that is so that we can look into something, maybe a rug someone tripped on or something that's out there that we can work to improve. So we do have a nurse injury hotline that the employees call into, and then they report that to work comp for our first report of injury, and that's where this data comes from. But overall, we're really doing a great job, I think, on the work comp and safety based on these numbers. And then I just wanted to talk a minute and talk a little bit about recruitment. And so I'm going to add in that in the new master agreement, we have updated notification dates. So those who wanted to retire needed to let us know by March 1st, and those who intend to resign are supposed to let us know by April 1st. So these early dates are really going to help us get out there in front of our competition, hopefully 30 or 60 days in front of others to try to get that top talent and bring them in. So we do already have multiple positions posted for 26-27, and our administrators are in the process of reviewing those applicants, which is great. And hopefully if we have any more resignations in the April timeframe, again, that'll just really help us to get out in front of them. From an overall recruiting perspective, we have a number of open positions. Do you want to go ahead, Jeff? And I'll just throw them up here for you. There aren't a whole lot, but we do have 2 math positions, one at the high school and one at the ALC. We also have in special education an EBD teacher and our autism consultant, and so we have those 2 that are currently posted. In support staff, we've had our special education paraprofessionals posted most of the year to keep filling that pipeline. We do currently have the confidential HR specialist position. That is a part-time position. And then we have some coaching opportunities right now as well. Head volleyball coach, there's 2 positions in the marching band, the color guard and drumline. And then our high school musical director will be posted shortly.
Is that just the musical, or does that include one act and the spring play and stuff too?
I believe it's just the musical.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. We don't put all of those except that that main director position on the board agenda, but I believe we still have the other ones filled. It's just the high school musical director. And then substitutes. So we have a number of substitutes currently posted, and I just want to talk a little bit about substitutes. So we have onboarded 47 substitutes this year.
Wow.
So when I think about the number 47, that seems like a really big number, but also it's never enough. The number of subs that we need to continue supporting what we do in the district is big. So we want to continue that. And so I'm looking at doing a series of open houses. This isn't fully laid out yet, but the thought is that it's low pressure opportunity for individuals in the community to come in, tour our facilities, see what we do, talk to administrators, maybe be able to ask those questions that might make them feel intimidated and unsure about what a substitute might do, in hopes that we really can continue to get more people through the door and have them subbing. It's really a casual opportunity, so some of our subs sub a lot more than others, and a few are just here and there. So we'll take them all. I'm happy to have as many as possible. But with this open house series, really hoping to continue to drive that need for subs. A quick operational update on Minnesota paid leave. Minnesota paid leave, we've had 19 claims filed, 11 claims approved, and 6 claims pending. I know those numbers don't add up, and that is because we've had a few either canceled or have to be re-entered, and so they're still out there in the system. So eventually they might add up a little better, but currently we have a pending claim and a duplicate claim. And then I just want to talk a little bit about the complexity. So it's really a delicate balance. We want our employees to feel supported and to know that we want to help them through these times, but also the decisions are out of our hands. So the state is really the one making the decisions, and there's a lot of intricate pieces to it to try to understand how the leaves run concurrently, and there's some decisions for the employees to make about what leave might be best for them. So really trying to be transparent and provide them as much education as possible so they can make informed decisions, but also really make sure that we're keeping our hands out of those benefit side decisions and whether they're approved, denied, et cetera, because that runs through the state. So it's definitely an interesting balance. I've seen an increase in my time as far as just consulting with those staff, lots of questions and trying to understand, explaining follow-ups. And so I think it's important that we do that and we help them to understand, but it has definitely been a balance. And then of course, there's just additional leave available to those staff. So with the previous FMLA, those 12 weeks that we're used to, and now with medical and family under Minnesota paid leave, it's up to 20 weeks. So when we think about that substitute need that we talked about and why 47 still doesn't seem like enough, part of that is, you know, the more we have staff that are absent, the more that we really need the coverage.
Does the state provide a call-in line for questions that might take some of that off your plate, or is it really just specific to our contract and our school?
Yeah, I mean, it's a mixture. You can call them, so you can go online and submit your application, but they also have a number to call, and I've encouraged many staff to call them for different reasons. Sometimes they have complicated questions that I do definitely refer them to the state. I'm not sure how late they're open as far as being flexible, like can you call after work, can you call first thing in the morning? I don't know exactly what those hours are, but I do refer a lot of staff to the state. When it comes to things like topping off, supplementing, every employer is different, so the state doesn't have the answer to those questions. We have to answer those questions, and then to help them understand as well things like how it affects their FTE. So if you're working less contract days, then that means less salary and less accruals for your available leave. And sometimes trying to really understand how that's working, because you are getting paid from the state, but not from your employer, from the school district. And so trying to understand how all those pieces weave together can be complicated. Mm-hmm. So my last slide is just questions. If you guys have any questions.
Amanda, so I see that the school district has a little hard time getting substitutes. We might have 47 of them, but is there a way that we could ask the substitutes to share their availability? I know one of the support staff spent like 27 calls to our substitutes, and like they kept saying like, hey, I'm not available these days, and we don't know what days they're available. Is there a way we could narrow that down so that maybe our support staff isn't spending so much time calling that many substitutes?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways we can try to look at that. Our subs really have multiple options. They can choose if they want Frontline to call them or not. They can choose to log into Frontline and look for opportunities, but not all of our jobs are in there. Our custodial jobs and our food service jobs are done more manually. And then we do have a support staff sub list where there's a number of details in there, and the subs can tell us, like, I'm not available these days, or please don't call me for these jobs. And Frontline's the same way. There's some pieces that we can check the box, yes, this building, no, not that building, but it's somewhat limited. So we really do work to put notes in that manual spreadsheet so that if a sub says, just don't call me on these days or I'm not available, and then checking that to make sure we have that. So we can always look at improving that process, but we do have a few pieces, and when we get information from the substitutes like that, we do try to add them to help, and we can keep looking at that because we do want it to be as efficient for everyone as possible. Yeah.
I think the idea of an open house is fantastic.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for putting effort into just the ongoing recruitment ideas, and besides all the reports and everyday functions you have.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Amanda. Board reports now include the first one up, Kirby Anderson.
Yes. We have 544 education. This on?
It doesn't sound on.
Doesn't sound on. Okay. The 544 Foundation did meet on Thursday, February 12th, and went through a number of things. The Kennedy display cases were cleaned in January, and they've been in the process of being updated in the Kennedy foyer. On the pictorial history edition, we were informed that we actually had a school in Dalton from 1970 to 1980, and there was also a school in Elizabeth, but that wasn't in 544. The major donor newsletter is going out soon. There's also a marketing program that's going on to talk about generations of otters. And so as we have seniors that are graduating, we're going to be highlighting those seniors' family, extended family, parents, grandparents, cousins, brothers, sisters, and so on, uncles and aunts that have also graduated from Fergus Falls, to show pride in the community as far as being otters. We had a little bit of weather issues with the alumni night over at the rec gym, so the crowd wasn't quite as big as it usually was, but we were able to raise $175 on the little fundraiser. We roll basketballs out towards center court, and we're looking at doing it again next year, and maybe try at one of the girls' games next year instead of the boys' games. On the financial committee had met and reviewed all of the finances from last year of the foundation. Currently have approximately $2.75 million in assets, and approximately $2.35 million of that is in investments. The 2025 return on those investments was 15.6%. So that's pretty good return. The Dow had been up 13%. The S&P was up 16%. So it's right in that ballpark. They have cash on hand, laddered CDs, and so on. So they work with Dorn and with Bonnie Denzel to manage their funds. So that was a good report. And so that's it for the 544. There will not be a meeting this week. We usually take March off. On the finance side, we had a finance committee meeting this past Monday, March 6th. Jeff and Renee met with Melanie and Steve and I, and we just did another iteration of reviewing the budget for the next fiscal year. So right now we're trying to target a balanced budget, and a lot of moving parts, a lot of unknowns right now. So we're looking at enrollment to be about the same. Our assumptions would be that the enrollment would be about the same as last year. General ed funding going up about 2.7%. And so just a lot of unknowns right now. Looking at how much we'll get for special ed funding, $6.7 million. The compensatory revenue, any unemployment aid. On the expense side, everything seems to be trending upward. Insurance is looking up 10%. Workers' comp is up 10%. Like Amanda talked about with things like paid leave and summer unemployment. There's $80,000 just in summer unemployment that's not reimbursed. And then wage increases and so on. New contract with the bus company. So Renee puts all these things into this huge spreadsheet, and shared with us a lot of things. Cleveland Avenue reconstruction, we're looking at an assessment there of like $76,000. So everything seems to be trending upward, but so we're still working on trying to keep a budget that's balanced and try and minimize impact to staff and utilize rather than laying off if we have staff that's retiring, and we can handle it that way. So that's about it, unless Steve or Melanie have anything that I might have missed.
No, I don't have anything to add.
Okay,
All
thanks.
right. Thank you. Board reports from Jenny.
Building and Grounds, excuse me, Building and Grounds has not met since our last meeting, so I don't have a report today.
All right. Well, then we'll shift to me, who has Region 1 on the docket, and we take February off, so I don't have a report. We'll keep moving. Kelly Graff?
The staff development did meet. They talked about their current budget of $29,882.13. They talked about staff development days in 2026 and 2027, which was November 25th. They talked about February 26th, but there is a section wrestling meet, so there may be a conflict, so that one is kind of a question mark. March 5th is on the docket, and committee feedback is requested for a new staff development request application. So they're going to give that to Jesse, and Jesse's going to figure out how to implement that, which is really good because it seems like to be a better option for them. There were several requests for staff to join some training, and that was it. So the next meeting is April 6th. And the wellness committee did not meet. It was canceled due to illness.
How ironic.
The wellness committee meeting was canceled due to illness.
Due to illness.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Missy Hermes report.
Okay, the Curriculum Review Advisory Committee met on Tuesday, February 17th. Normally we meet on Mondays, but that was President's Day, so we couldn't meet that day. But this, we had, really, there was 3 different reports. Title I services was, the report was given by Courtney Anderson, and then Amelia Lamar, our curriculum director, gave the RTI response to intervention services report, and also talent development in place of Krista Simongard, who's the director. And it wasn't a super long report, but it was encouraging to hear all the different ways that RTI is being provided to students, providing additional supports in reading and math, and bridging the gap in skills so that students can reach grade level. And it was overall a good report, and then one of the parents who's on the committee asked a really important question, and it's something really for everyone in the district, us, teachers, administrators, to think about. And they talked about all the great stuff that's happening K through 8 to get kids to grade level, and then after that, 9 through 12. What happens after that? That is, I even wrote it, there is an achievement drop-off, and we can see that in our own testing, especially 9th grade. But yeah, it's something we can work toward. But yes, what can we do? Why after grade 8, what happens to help those students?
Do you think that's systematic in all the schools? Or,
I don't
in a
know. I
lot
mean,
of
we
schools?
know that 9th grade algebra can be a huge hurdle, whether you're at the Area Learning Center here or whether you're just up at Roosevelt, up at Kennedy, and that the new math standards are there, and maybe there is help there as we start implementing those new math standards, and a different way of thinking about teaching 9th grade math or high school math would be important. Yeah.
I just want to throw out one thing. I've had a couple parents that have told me when they have their children going into 9th grade, especially in math, it's hard for a lot of the parents to help with homework anymore. And so the question they had was, are there tutoring things available? Are there other things they can do? Can they get extra help on their math? Because it's difficult for even some of the parents to try and help.
And this parent admitted that himself, said, and I so appreciate him being on this committee and giving that parent perspective. Yeah. Any other? Oh, that's my report for that. And then policy, we have not met, but I just want you to know that I'm keeping an eye on the education policy meetings down at the legislature, and so just even tomorrow, some of the things we'll be talking about, the READ Act and implementing that, what's going on there. Pelsby is on the docket tomorrow, and then evidence-based math and the Minnesota Math Corps. So math is, they're interested in a math achievement as well down at the legislature.
Very good. Any other questions for Missy? All right. Board reports from Stephen Bigasa.
Activities is not met. And the meet and confer committee has not met and conferred outside of the calendar discussion that we've already approved. So that's about it for my reports.
All right. Superintendent Drake. If we can have your report. And then if you have any comments back for what I was asking Missy too about interventions too in the high school for math, because I'm guessing there's more to it than I've been able to identify.
Yeah, with my aging memory, remind me when we get to the questions, and I'll be happy to field a couple on
Very
that.
good.
Well, good evening. First, a thank you. Last Friday was National Mechanical Worker Appreciation Day, and so I just wanted to give some recognition and acknowledgement to our mechanical crew. It is not a big division in our school, but super important. They are responsible for fixing most of the stuff that doesn't work on a daily basis, for helping when our temperatures in our classrooms need some modification or adjustment, and a school district of this size keeps them busy, and just appreciate all that they do. One thing the general public may not be aware of is that they're on call. So when something breaks down over the weekend and needs to be fixed for us to operate properly on a Monday morning, they're coming in on their weekends and sometimes working really long hours to get that addressed. So again, appreciation for all that they do. Lots of congratulatory notes to hand out today. First of all, our boys swimming and diving team had a phenomenal state tournament experience. They finished 6th in the state, and we had a state champion. Reese Hansen won the 100 backstroke, but you can see the athletes that were competing in the events there. We had a number that received all state honors. And with today's ability to live stream events, Amy and I got to watch it at home, and it was a lot of fun, and the coverage is really, really high quality, so it's a nice way to make connections. Our relays, we had wonderful relays this year, and the 200-yard medley relay took 7th at state, so congratulations to Reese, Ethan, Lucas, and Jaden. State champion Reese Hansen in the 100-meter backstroke. Terrific race. His older sister won a state championship in the high jump, so they have 2 state champions in that family. And Randy was coach of the year for the section, so really a wonderful opportunity. Reese was the section swimmer of the year. And then we had the 200 medley relay that was the Section 5A champion. And then Ethan Strandy was the champion in the 100 breaststroke. So congratulations to those athletes. Nolan Field, we've talked about him before, but he set the single season victory for the history of Otter Wrestling with 45 season wins. Went down to state and really had a phenomenal state tournament. He ended up finished 6th, so he made it onto the podium. And I believe Nolan is only a junior, so he's going to be back again to wrestle for the Otters. Hattie Fullhart made her 1,000th career point, and I don't remember if that was during the playoff game against Wilmer or not, but it was the last game or 2 of the season. And then Knowledge Bowl, they're starting their playoffs now. So that was today. They competed in the sub-regions against Alexander, Detroit Lakes, Moorhead. This one, you just have to be in the top 6 out of 8. But Team Fuchsia with Trigby Ronovic, Noah Schlosser, Gus Krohn, Cooper Christensen, and Chloe Brown finished 2nd with 85 points. And Team Fire was right behind them with 84 points, and that's Hayden Salverson, Aiden Neubauer, Isaiah Ibarra, Noah Ibarra, and Dane Hare. So those 2 teams will move on to the region championship, and you need to finish in the top 2 at regions in order to go to state. And there's a couple of photos of our second and third place Knowledge Bowl teams from today's competition. National Junior, yeah, I think the gentlemen next to her are quite tall too, so that does become more pronounced. Some really terrific art here on display with the National Junior Duck Stamp Contest out of the Fergus Falls High School painting class, and so they will compete with other 10th through 12th graders in Minnesota for Best in Show, and so good luck to our artist. And then I do want to say just a few words of appreciation to the Lincoln kindergarten staff. Really did a phenomenal job. Different format this year. Instead of kind of a sit and get format, was very interactive. And so Principal John made a few welcoming comments. Jen Cohor spoke. I was able to give a welcome for the first session, but our finance committee meeting overlapped the second one. But a terrific turnout. People were happy, excited to tour the school. Again, students got to play with various, there were crafts there. They got a t-shirt thanks to the PTO. They got into the music room and had all kinds of different interactive things to do there. And all told, following the event, we have almost 100 students now pre-registered for kindergarten, so that's up considerably from where we were at this point last year. And probably even a little bit more exciting, 18 of the students that were present at the open house were not on our list before. So that is really, really positive news. And of course, for our community, kindergarten registration is still open, so please stop by or take the website in, and we would love to have your student enroll in our district. You talked about, or heard about this a couple weeks ago from Principal Kolbeck, but this is The Secret Explorers and the Comet Collision. So that book is sponsored by our PTO, and students excited about getting that opportunity to do that one book, one read event. A couple of pieces of information for the public on the Children's Corner lease. I know a number of people have had questions about that. So as part of this report, this is a little bit inaccurate. The lease agreement, I believe, was signed prior to 2021, but after wrangling with AI for several minutes to try to get the language corrected, I finally gave up and just said I'll correct it here in person. So the lease would have been signed earlier than that, but the lease actually kicked off in April of 2021 when they moved into Lincoln. It's an 18-year lease. They have shared or exclusive access to nearly 30,000 of the 89,000 square feet. One of the unique features about that lease agreement is that there was no escalator clause in the base lease amount. So that stayed the same from year 1 all the way through year 18 of the lease. The district uses the annual lease amount to make our own debt payments on the construction of Lincoln Phase 1, and so that revenue is of vital importance to the financial health of our district. And then finally, I did want to let the community know that out of care and concern for our families and knowing how important childcare is for our community, the district has agreed to cover the costs of the mediator in hopes that we can sit down with Children's Corner and find a positive path forward. So that is, they are searching for a mediator now, and hopefully that can occur in the not too distant future. Achievement and integration. This plan will be approved later on as part of this board report or board action. It's a 3-year plan, and there are 3 goals that each achievement and integration plan needs to have. One has to be reducing academic disparities. The other one is equitable teacher access, and the third category is increasing integration opportunities. So the reason that our district qualifies for this is we share a border with the Pelican Rapids district, and so we are encouraged to have our students and staff interact with the students and staff in Pelican Rapids. So there are a number of different things that happen during the course of the year. We do a cultural trivia event, kind of like Trivial Pursuit. That involves Pelican Rapids, Underwood, and Fergus Falls. We also attend powwows that could typically be up in the Detroit Lakes area. Sometimes Perham might host one to try to get our kids interacting and increase their cultural awareness. We have 5 goals for our new 3-year plan. One is participating in a minimum of 1 cultural exchange event or experience per year. The next 2 are both tied to 5th grade students who qualify under what I'll say the old free reduced lunch program. So it's an family academic or family income measure. And one goal is to have a minimum of 1 year's growth in the area of literacy, and the second one is a minimum of 1 year's growth in the area of math. Number 4 is for 8th graders, and that's tied to our BAR program that we are in the first year of. And that goal is related to students in 8th grade passing, the majority of them passing both their math and their reading class each year. So it does tie into that earlier conversation we had about 9th grade math and some of the challenges there as well. And then finally, number 5 is ensuring that students are taught by teachers that have been trained in cultural pedagogy. So those are our 5 goals over the next 3 years, and then annually we do need to submit a progress report to the state, and that becomes part of what used to be the World's Best Workforce Report, and they changed the name, and I can't remember what the new one's called. It's got a lot longer, I can tell you that. I want to finish up here tonight with just a quick comment about the state's annual budget forecast. So just recall, the state has a budget forecast that comes out in November, and then they have another forecast that comes out at the end of February. And so this is just a couple weeks old. Recall that leading up to this, the prediction was that the state would be, I believe it was about $3 billion underwater on the tails of the fiscal budget. And what we received at the end of February is a slight, I would say a better forecast. As you look at the structural imbalance in the tails of this budget, so fiscal year 28-29, you can see that there is some deficit spending to the tune of $3 million and change. But as you look under the blue column, fiscal year 26-27, there was a remaining balance of $3.7 billion. So what ends up happening at the projection for the tails is a remaining state fund balance of $377 million. So there's not a lot left in there based on this projection, but they're not in the red either. One important caveat to that number that is very much related to schools and our financial health is that 377 is predicated on the $250 million cut to special ed that the state mandated at the end of the last session. There are lobbying efforts going on right now to remove that $250 million forced reduction because the state has still money left over projected in its reserves without needing to cut that. So we'll see how that turns out.
Do you want the name of that?
Yes, I would love that.
It's the Comprehensive Achievement and Civic Readiness Report.
CACR. Yes, CACR. Thank you, Missy. I do appreciate that. And then just related to the support services for students that hit 9th through 12th grade. So in this district, I would say we do a really nice job of providing additional academic support and intervention for students. We have our Title I program, which would be a Tier 2 intervention. We also have our ADSIS program, which is a Tier 2 intervention, and then we have special ed, which is a Tier 3 intervention. When it comes to title, we spend more money on our title program than what we receive in federal aid because it's important for us to get those interventions in when the kids need them so that they can be academically successful. And then we've, over the years, continued to kind of version our ADSYS Tier 2 piece. And then a couple years ago, we made a conscious decision to take some RTI or ADSYS resources that were in the middle school, and we moved them down to the lower elementary. And the rationale behind that decision was that the research will always tell you that the earlier you can provide intervention, the more positive the outcomes for kids that will take place. So we're seeing that now. Amelia and I talk about that fairly often. When Amelia gives her spring report, I've asked her to provide an update on what the movement of those resources to the lower elementary has done. But we're seeing significantly fewer students in the middle school now needing intervention support, which is really a positive sign. Essentially, what happens in our district is that we're already adding into the intervention services, but there really aren't financial resources left to extend those into the 9th through 12th grades. So what you tend to see instead is some of the classes will be tailored more to students that might be struggling. And so it's a fairly high threshold for math in Minnesota, trying to get all kids through Algebra 2, which is difficult curriculum. But we do try to provide supports through the homework help room, etc., to try to give the kids the extra help that they need. A lot of it comes down to otter time when they go and they can see the student, or the teacher can see the students that are not doing well in the class and provide them with a little extra support. But that's the model that we have right now on the high school side.
Thanks for expanding on that.
Yeah.
Good. Any questions for the superintendent?
Not so much a question, but probably a couple comments. Our boys basketball team is playing Thursday night at Sartell for a chance to go to the state tournament. And this past weekend, the state hockey tournament was on. There was 3 or 4 different poor sportsmanship examples in that tournament. Mm-hmm. And when we watched our game here the other night, on Saturday night against, I remember who it was. It was a 6-7 game. It was Wilmer. No, it wasn't Wilmer. Was it? Sauk Rapids. I think.
Sauk Rapids.
Sauk Rapids, right. Anyways, I was just so proud of our student section. And they're right next to the band. The band was awesome. And our students were all decked out in high-vis yellow and orange gear like you see highway workers wear. And they were so coordinated in their cheers, and they were standing up, and they were very respectful and very loud, and they were like the 6th man in a basketball game. Their cheering really made a difference for the Otters. So it was really fun to see. So we're wishing the Otters good luck playing Sartell on Thursday. And I believe they beat Sartell back on, I don't remember what day it was, 45-43. So we already beat them once. So good luck to the Otters this week on Thursday.
Yeah, thank you, Kirby.
Cool.
Anything else? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Superintendent Drake. We'll move on to the general consent items, and for consideration of approval in this motion are the minutes from the February 23rd regular school board meeting, and then the bills and treasurer's report. So I'll turn to you, Stephen.
For the bills, we all have this in our packet. We actually ended up with a net change of $100 to our fund balance this month, so that's about it for that. The expenses were pretty normal: payroll, busing, utilities. Spent a good amount of money on solid technology systems, door access control, which will be reimbursed. It's about $60,000. That'll be reimbursed with the MDE security grant. We, believe it or not, are working on the Wi-Fi. So I know there's been a lot of complaints about the Wi-Fi, especially if you have any high schoolers. But we spent some money on troubleshooting with that this month as well. Yeah, nothing really of remarkable there. Our fund balance is about 26 million with the construction money included. And that's about it for my report. Nothing
All
that
right.
you guys haven't seen.
All right, we have several personnel items. Amanda, do you want to do them since you're here, or should I just run through them? Okay, all right. We have a certified staff hire. Mark Soley is going to be a long-term sub for music at Kennedy for the high school and middle school. Certified staff retirements include Nancy Corby, special ed teacher at the Area Learning Center, effective at the end of the school year, and Lynette Shermer's math teacher at Kennedy at the high school, effective at the end of the school year. One support staff hire, Noah Link, a special ed paraprofessional at Kennedy, beginning March 11th. Coach separation, Allie Nicolason, high school musical director, is ending at the end of the 25-26 school year. And then one more proposal for general consent, a grade level change for the information technology manager. Job description that we have is number 112, and the proposals to increase from grade 10 to a grade 11. So is there a motion to approve the general consent items?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
All right. Any discussion on any of those items? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. That is approved. We have a first item under new business. I'd be looking for a motion to approve a contract with Cassette Electric for Adams Elementary School IT cabling project. This is the E-rate project, that means that gets reimbursed at a certain percentage from the federal government. And the amount is $42,532.85. Will someone make that motion?
So move.
Second.
All right. Any discussion on that? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of approving it, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. That's approved, and we'll move on to looking for a motion to approve the school district's achievement and integration plan. This was reviewed by the superintendent in his report. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. That's approved, and thank you, Jeff, for doing that one. We have number 3 of new business, resolution on the retirement of Lynette Shermers. Whereas Lynette began her employment with Fergus Falls Public Schools in 1993, whereas Lynette has been a valued employee with Fergus Falls Public Schools for the past 33 years, and whereas Lynette has been a dedicated math teacher for the district, and now therefore be it resolved by the Fergus Falls School Board to thank Lynette for her 33 years of service to Fergus Falls Public Schools. Would someone offer that resolution and move for its adoption?
I will offer that resolution and move for its adoption.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, will you please
Yes.
roll?
Jenny Christensen.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Melanie Cole.
Yes?
Stephen Biggessa.
Yes.
Kirby Anderson.
Yes.
Kelly Graff.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
All right, thank you. We have a resolution on the retirement of Nancy Corby. Whereas Nancy began her employment with Fergus Falls Public Schools in 2017, and whereas Nancy's been a valued employee with Fergus Falls Public Schools for the past 9 years, and whereas Nancy has been a dedicated special ed teacher for the district, and now therefore be it resolved by the Fergus Falls School Board to thank Nancy for her 9 years of service to Fergus Falls Public Schools.
I'll offer that resolution and move for its adoption.
All right, and I'll second. Is there any discussion on it? Hearing none, clerk?
Melanie Cole.
Yes?
Stephen Vigasa.
Yes.
Kirby Anderson.
Yes.
Kelly Graff.
Yes.
Jenny Christensen.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. The resolution is adopted.
All right, thank you. That concludes our agenda for the meeting. The board will have a work session. Primary topic will be the ongoing discussion about the cell phone policy for the district. Our next school board meeting will be during the time that spring break is scheduled for the students and staff. So we are going to note a shift in location and time, Monday, March 23rd, 7:15 a.m., and over in Otter Community Room. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
And a second?
Second.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.